Chapter 1. My eyes crack open to a ceiling I do not recognize. Off-white plaster. A brown water stain spreads from one corner like an old bruise, crawling across the paint in thin, ugly veins. The kind of ceiling you wake up under when the night before made decisions you were too drunk to argue with. The sheets smell like cheap detergent, old sweat, and someone else's skin. My cybernetics hum beneath mine, running a lazy morning diagnostic through joints, nerves, synthetic fibers, and all the other expensive pieces of me the government insists are still property under supervised assignment. Everything comes back green, except for dehydration, minor bruising, and a blood alcohol warning my HUD has the decency to keep quiet about. Bar. Whiskey. Bad music. Laughing at something stupid. A hand on my waist. I turn my head, careful and slow. The man beside me is still asleep, face half buried in a pillow that should have been thrown out before I was born. Dark hair, stubbled jaw, broad shoulders. A tattoo peeks from under the sheet, some kind of bird, wings spread wide like it thought it could escape him. I do not remember his name. I'm not sure he gave me one. His arm lies across my stomach, heavy and warm, fingers curled loosely against my hip. I slide out from under it with practiced silence and sit up, letting the stale morning air cool the polymer skin along my ribs. The room is a crime scene of poor decisions. Clothes scattered like casualties, an empty amber bottle on the nightstand, a half-eaten noodle bowl on the floor, already trying to become a new species. My black crop top is crumpled over a chair. My pleated skirt hangs from the doorknob like it tried to make a break for it. One of my boots is under the bed. The other is somehow in the bathroom. Classy, Jane. Very classy. I dress quickly, pulling fabric over faint bruises and the thin teal seams where synthetic skin meets the rest of me. They glow softly under the cheap apartment light, thin strips of color tracing my body like fault lines. Not enough for most people to notice unless they are staring too hard. And if they are staring too hard, they usually learn not to. Behind me, the man groans.
Hey.
His voice is thick with sleep.
Stay a while.
I tug my skirt into place and glance back. He is propped up on one elbow now, squinting through the morning haze, trying to solve the same puzzle I already threw in the trash. There is something almost sweet about the confusion on his face, like a dog hearing its name in another room. Can't, I say, already looking for my jacket, got places. His brow creases.
Do I? Did we?
He gestures at the bed, himself, me, and the general wreckage around us. I find my jacket half buried under a chair and shake it out. Yeah, you were fine.
That's good.
Sure. I pull the jacket on. The familiar weight settles over my shoulders, and my body relaxes by half a degree. Armor is armor, even when it is just fabric and attitude. He blinks at me, still trying to remember what we were to each other last night.
What's your name?
I scoop my keys off the nightstand. Doesn't matter.
That seems harsh.
It usually is. I pause at the door and give him one last look. Take care of yourself, yeah? I do not give him time to answer. The door clicks shut behind me, and I am already moving down the hall before his next word can catch me. The apartment complex has the same cheap rot as 100 others in Watson. Stained carpets, flickering lights, old smoke in the walls, and the distant smell of someone frying something that should have stayed dead. I punch the elevator button and wait while the numbers crawl down. By the time I step outside, Watson is already screaming. Hover cars carve through traffic lanes overhead. Holographic ads stutter across building faces, promising clean pleasure. Dirty money, miracle augments, designer organs, and 3 different brands of synthetic meat, pretending not to be the same sludge in different packaging. The pavement is wet from last night's rain, turning every neon sign into a smear of color under my boots. The calm in my ear crackles alive.
Well.
Boss says, her voice sliding straight into my skull like she pays rent there.
Someone had a busy night.
I close my eyes for half a second and let the weak morning sun warm my face. Boss, you're up early.
Early?
Emily's voice drips amusement.
Jane, it is almost 11. I have been watching you sleep in some stranger's apartment for 6 hours. Very educational, by the way. He had a nice...
Finish that sentence and I throw the comm into the nearest sewer.
You can't throw an ear implant into a sewer.
I'll cut it out first.
That's the spirit.
She laughs, warm and smug and entirely too awake.
I'm just saying, your taste in men is improving. This one had all his teeth.
I'm hanging up.
You can't hang up on me either.
I'll find a way.
I believe in you.
Her tone shifts then, the humor sharpening into work.
Unfortunately, your morning shame walk is about to become a case.
I start walking. What kind of case?
The kind that leaves bodies in Falcone. 5 dead in 3 nights. All lialim, all drained. Same marks on the throat.
My pace slows. A sucker, then. Maybe more than one.
And before you ask...
Emily continues.
No, it is not a clean feeding. The bodies were arranged.
I stop completely. The crowd flows around me, irritated but unwilling to make it my problem. Arranged how?
Ritual pattern. Precise. Deliberate. The kind of thing that makes old occult files start looking useful again.
The city noise dulls around me. A vampire is bad. A vampire with occultic backing is worse. Feeding is hunger. Ritual is intention, and intention means someone is not just killing. Someone is building. Where? I ask.
Morgue on 3rd and Soren, Falcone District. I already pushed your clearance through.
Coroner expecting me?
She is.
There is a beat of silence. I know that silence. Emily.
What?
Who is the coroner? Another pause. Too long. Too guilty.
Lavender.
My face tightens before I can stop it. You could have opened with that.
I could have, but then you would have made that face.
You can't see my face.
Jane.
I start walking again. Harder now. Fine? Anything else?
The markings match a rift opening variation we have seen before. Not exact, but close enough that I do not like it.
Calamity.
Possible, not confirmed.
Possible is enough to ruin my morning.
Your morning was already ruined. I'm just giving it structure.
I cut through the crowd toward the nearest cab rank, my boots striking pavement in a steady rhythm. Watson presses in on every side. Steel, smoke, bodies, noise. A Leolim woman with fox ears and amber eyes slips past me, tail brushing the air behind her. Just the fox ones, twitching toward every sound like the city itself annoys her. A Krutoa shoulders through the pedestrian lane like a walking wall, 10 feet of gray-green muscle and bad temper. His steps make the pavement shudder. Nobody flinches. Just another morning in the conjoined cities. The cab rank waits 2 blocks down, a row of battered hovercabs blinking for fares. I pick the least dead-looking one and tap the window twice. The door slides up with a hydraulic wheeze. The driver is human, wiry, one mechanical eye clicking as it focuses on me. Falcone, I say, sliding in, 3rd and Soren, city morgue.
Pay up front.
I pull a cred chip from my jacket and slap it against the reader. There's double if you drive fast and keep quiet. The chip vanishes into the console. The cab lurches upward hard enough to make the seat complain beneath me, then merges into the airborne traffic stream. Watson drops away below, all hard edges and dirty light. Ahead, Falcone rises greener and softer, its curved buildings wrapped in ivy and rooftop gardens, like the city is trying to convince itself it still has a soul. Emily's voice returns lower this time.
Jane,
Yeah.
be careful with this one.
I watch the district line approach through the window, neon giving way to hanging gardens and damp stone. You say that every time.
And you ignore me every time.
Good system,
No,
she says.
a familiar one.
The cab banks left, and the morgue marker appears on my HUD. 3rd and Soren. 5 deadly alim. Drained, posed, marked. A sucker with patience. I hate patient monsters. The cab drops through Falcone's lower traffic lane and lands hard enough to rattle my teeth. The door slides open with a tired hydraulic hiss, and warm air rolls in. Falcone smells different from Watson. Less burnt oil, less hot metal. More damp earth, overgrown flowers, wet stone, and the faint sweetness of rooftop gardens spilling pollen into the street. The buildings curve instead of stab, their walls wrapped in ivy and flowering vines, their balconies heavy with plants that refuse to die no matter how much neon gets poured over them. Pretty place. Still has a morgue. I step out onto 3rd and Soren, boots hitting cobblestone slick from old rain. The city mortuary squats between 2 taller buildings like it is trying not to be noticed. Gray concrete, narrow windows, a flickering sign that reads City Mortuary, Falcone District. 1 heavy steel door scratched around the lock, reinforced enough to keep desperate people out and dead people in. Lavender waits beside it. Of course she does. She stands with her arms folded, white medical coat buttoned high enough to hide the seams she hates showing. Lilac hair frames her face in soft waves, too gentle for a place like this. She is smaller than the rest of us, softer in the eyes, softer in the mouth, softer in every way that makes people underestimate how many times she has held someone's insides together with her bare hands. She smells faintly of antiseptic and lavender. The name was never subtle. Her face lifts when she sees me. She smiles, but it is thin and tired, the kind of smile people use when they are trying not to let the room behind them crawl into their mouth.
Jane.
Lavender. I stop a few steps away and look her over before I mean to. Coat clean, hands steady, eyes shadowed, no blood under the nails, no tremor in the wrists. She notices. She always notices.
I'm fine.
She says, didn't ask.
You were going to.
No, I was going to make a comment about you looking like a corpse that got rejected for being too pale. That gets a small laugh out of her. Barely.
Charming as always.
I try.
No, you don't.
Fair.
She turns toward the keypad beside the door, then pauses. Her hand hovers there for a second longer than it should.
That bothers me more than the morgue. Lavender does not flinch at blood. She does not turn pale at wounds. She has pulled shrapnel out of my thigh while humming to herself like she was fixing a loose button. If she is hesitating, then whatever is inside is worse than Emily's tone made it sound. Boss said 5, I say.
5 confirmed.
Lavender enters the code.
3 female, 2 male, all Lyalim, ages from early 20s to mid-40s.
The lock clicks. Confirmed? Her mouth tightens.
There may be more.
Great. The door opens and cold air spills over us. I follow her inside. The corridor beyond is too clean, too bright, and too quiet. Fluorescent strips buzz overhead. The walls are white tile with gray grout. Everything smells like bleach, preservatives, and the kind of chemical lemon scent people use when they are trying to convince themselves nothing bad happened here. Lavender walks ahead of me, her shoes whispering against the floor.
No signs of a fight at the dump site,
She says.
Minimal defensive wounds. The bruising suggests they were restrained before death, but not with cuffs. Something softer. Cloth, maybe. Or hands.
Sucker strong enough to hold them down.
Maybe.
I glance at her back. You don't like maybe?
I don't like clean answers that arrive too early.
That is Lavender. Gentle voice. Scalpel underneath. We reach a reinforced door at the end of the hall. She presses her palm to the reader. For half a second, faint lilac light glows beneath the cuff of her sleeve, leaking through where her skin meets the text she tries so hard to hide. Then it is gone. The door unlocks.
You ready?
She asks. No. She looks back at me. I shrug. You asked. Her expression softens, but she does not pity me. That is the thing about Lavender. Silver worries like a mother. Jade looks like she wants to crush the world for me. Clara pretends not to care, which is almost worse. Wendy floats somewhere above normal human grief like gravity forgot her. Lavender just lets me stand. No pushing, no guiding, no soft little speeches about healing. That is why I can breathe around her. She opens the door. The cold hits first. Then the bodies. 5 steel tables sit in a wide semicircle, each angled toward an empty space in the center of the room. Sheets cover them from throat to ankle, but not well enough to hide the shapes underneath. Arms folded wrong, fingers fixed in stiff positions, heads tilted toward the center like they died looking at something only they could see. My HUD wakes without me asking. Temperature, humidity, body placement, blood residue, trace magic warning. The last one flickers amber. I hate amber. Lavender moves to the nearest table.
This was the first one brought in.
Name?
Raina Vale, 29. Lealim. Worked nights at a hydroponics depot 3 blocks from here.
She pulls back the sheet. Her face is pale enough to seem carved from wax. Her eyes are closed, her mouth relaxed, peaceful, if you do not look lower. I look lower. 2 puncture wounds mark the side of her throat, clean and deep, bruised dark around the edges, not torn, not messy, a feeder with control. Then I see her hands. Her arms are crossed over her chest, but her fingers have been forced open and fixed into shape. Symbols are carved into both palms, thin lines, shallow cuts, not made to kill, made to mean something. My stomach tightens before I can stop it. Across her torso, from collarbone to just above the navel, more lines curve through the skin. Spirals, hooks, broken circles, all feeding into a central mark over the sternum. It looks almost floral at first glance, a twisted flower blooming out of a corpse. I lean closer, and my HUD zooms. Not random, I say.
No.
Lavender's voice drops.
A cultic structure, blood-bound. The bite drains them. The carving directs whatever is left.
Rift work.
A variation. Old one.
How old?
Old enough that sane people stopped writing it down.
I glance at her. She keeps her eyes on the body, which means whoever did this either found something buried or someone taught them. Emily's voice crackles in my ear.
I'm hearing that. Pulling archives now.
Don't flirt with cursed documents without me, I mutter. Lavender raises an eyebrow. Boss, I say.
Ah.
Emily snorts in my skull.
Lavender, tell your sister I am a professional.
Lavender does not miss a beat.
Emily, please stop flirting with cursed documents.
I feel attacked.
Good, I say. The joke lands weak and dies fast. Lavender covers Raina again and moves to the next table.
Same pattern on all 5. Same depth, same hand pressure, same blade width. The killer either has surgical control or machine assistance.
Could be augmented.
Could be.
She pulls the second sheet back. A young man this time. Cat-like ears, ginger hair, lean face, too young, early 20s maybe. His throat carries the same punctures, his hands carry the same symbols, his torso holds the same ugly flower. But the angle is different. I step closer, turn him slightly. Lavender does. The central mark catches the light, and my HUD overlays it against Reina's pattern. Not identical, rotated. I look at the tables. 5 bodies, semicircle. No, not just a semicircle. A broken formation recreated badly in a room too small for the original spacing. They were facing inward, I say.
At the scene, yes?
You have scene scans? Lavender lifts 2 fingers, and a file flashes into my HUD from her local feed. The room disappears beneath a ghost image overlay, alley floor, blood traces, 5 bodies placed in a pentagon around a drain grate. I stare at the center. Empty. Something was supposed to be there. Lavender nods once.
Or something was.
The back of my neck prickles. I zoom in on the drain grate, scratches around the edges, burn marks, a residue pattern too smooth to be spilled blood. Boss.
Already isolating it.
Emily says all humor gone now.
Give me a second.
I walk the room, comparing each corpse to the scene overlay. The bodies are not just victims, they are components, points in a diagram. Flesh used as punctuation, blood used as ink. That old familiar heat builds behind my ribs. Not the good kind. The kind that makes my hands want weapons. Lavender watches me from beside the table.
Jane.
I'm fine.
I know.
That makes me look at her. She meets my eyes, calm and sad, and not soft enough to be useless.
I'm not asking you to be fine. I'm asking you to stay here with me for another minute before you run off and try to kill the first thing with fangs.
I wasn't going to.
Jane.
Fine. I was considering it.
Consider slower.
I exhale through my nose and force my fingers to unclench. Emily comes back in.
Residue from the grate is not matching standard vampire activity. There are trace occultic signatures, but also something chemical. Stabilizer, maybe. Manufactured.
So not just a sucker, I say.
No, a sucker, a ritualist, and someone with access to lab-grade support.
Lavender's face darkens.
That narrows the list in an unpleasant direction.
Calamity, I say.
Possibly, she says.
Everyone keeps saying possibly like that makes it less irritating.
It keeps us from being stupid.
I hate that she is right. Lavender covers the second body, then the third, then the fourth. She does not make me look at every wound, and I do not ask her to. My HUD already has the footage, my eyes already have enough. By the 5th table, the cold has settled into my skin and made the teal seams beneath my jacket glow a little brighter. Lavender notices, but says nothing. Of course she says nothing. That is why she is Lavender. I send the full scan package to Emily, then step back from the tables. What are you running, I ask?
Tissue samples, trace residue, saliva from the bite wounds. If there is anything usable left, I'll also check for sedatives.
They were taken alive.
Yes.
The answer is gentle. It still lands like a hook under my ribs. Lavender closes the last sheet.
They were alive long enough to be afraid.
The room goes quiet. Something inside me goes quieter. Then we find who did it, I say. Lavender looks at me for a long moment.
And then?
I smile, but there is no humor in it. Then I ask them questions.
Jane.
What? No promises.
That is the closest thing to maturity I expect from you.
I almost laugh. Almost. She walks me back to the door. Before she opens it, her hand touches my sleeve. Light, brief, easy to ignore if I want to. I do not pull away.
Be careful.
She says. Everyone keeps saying that today.
Maybe try listening today.
That sounds like something Silver would say.
I know. I hated it as soon as it left my mouth.
This time I do laugh. One breath. Sharp and tired.